Hi, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to be creating a brand new remote repository in GitHub, and then we're going to be working with it throughout the next few videos. So the first thing I want to do is talk about how we actually create a remote repository. So in the past, when we've created repositories, we've gone onto our terminal, made a new directory, and then did git init to create a new repository. However, in this lecture, it's a little bit different. Because we're creating it remotely, we're going to need to do it through GitHub and then run some terminal commands to actually connect to it through our local machine. So let's get started. First thing you want to do is go over to GitHub and open up your account wherever you are. And now we're just going to create a brand new repository. So this can be for whatever project you want, but in this case, I'm creating a new repository so that I can actually work with it throughout the next few videos. So I'm just going to call this my new repo, like that. A repository created to learn connecting to GitHub remotely. Okay, we're just going to leave it at that. Now here's the important part. You don't want to create a README, you don't want to add any git ignore, and you don't want to add any licenses. Just make a brand new blank repository. The reason that we're doing this is because when we actually connect to it through GitHub, what's going to happen is we're going to create all of those things. So we can create READMEs, licenses, and on top of that, we can create it through GitHub later after we've connected. So just keep that in mind. If you create these things, it might cause some errors when you're pushing it and pulling it. We'll do those in the later videos, but for now, just create it and make sure it's blank. So we're going to create that repository. There you go. So now we have a repository set up. No code, no readmes, and no licenses. This is exactly where we want to be right now. So now that we've done that, let's just go onto my desktop, and what I'm going to do is first copy the path to the terminal, as I always do at the beginning of a section. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make a new directory on my local machine. So I'm going to open up my terminal, just like that. So then I'm going to cd, just erase all that. So I'm going to cd into our folder there. I'm going to go back a level. And I'm going to make a new directory and just call it my or git remote connection or con, just like that. Make it short, sweet, so that we can easily access it. There we go. So I'm going to cd into it. All right, there we go. So it's working now. So now that we did that, we need to start actually connecting to it through our terminal. So what we're going to do first is go and get this URL here. So it's either HTTPS or SSH. I would recommend just going with HTTPS since it's pretty much almost the same thing. I just prefer to use it. It's a little bit easier. So first thing I want to do, copy that link. Next thing I want to do is go back into my terminal, and I'm going to first initialize a new repository, just like that. There we go. So now that we've initialized the new repository, we need to actually connect to it through our terminal. So this is a little bit complicated in a way, but it's not the worst thing that can happen. So basically what's going on here is we're going to add something called an origin to the GitHub repository through our terminal, and it's going to allow us to connect through the local repository to the remote repository. So this is what you have to do. Git remote add origin, and then you want to paste in the URL that you got from your GitHub repository. So you're just going to click enter, and there you go. So now pretty much what happened is we connected our GitHub repository with our Git repository. So they're both empty, there's nothing in them, but in the next few videos we're going to be working towards adding commits and pushing and pulling so that we can actually start to use them together. And if you want to check if it works and if you connected properly, all you have to do is type git remote -v. And if it shows you here your GitHub repository fetch and push, which is similar to the push and pull system, then it's all connected and you're ready to start working on your commits and making everything work together. So you can also do this through the SSH URL, but it'll require a few extra steps. Just make sure that you know what you're doing there. So you can see also down here, we have a few steps right here. So for example, it says here, Here it just creates the README, and then you create a new repository and then add this and commit it and do all of that. We're going to be doing that in the next few videos, so don't worry about that. But for now, we just connected our repositories. So in the next few videos, we're going to work towards pushing, pulling, creating our READMEs, our commits, things like that. All right, let's move on.